When in the middle of a cloudy autumn a sunny day suddenly comes, it is so effortlessly pleasant to recollect the past. 100 million years ago, a warm sea swashed where Central Europe is now located. As is known, various solid particles are constantly deposited on the bottom of the seas and oceans, from which marine sediments are formed. Scientists identify several sources of these solid insoluble deposits. First, water transports huge amounts of solid materials, sand, clay, etc., from the land to lakes, seas, and oceans. This process is clearly visible in the aerial photograph of Kachemak Bay in Alaska. Winds also shift solid particles to hundreds of kilometers. One can see in this picture how desert dust flows over Sudan, left, over the Red Sea. When a volcano erupts, clouds of volcanic ash are ejected from its crater. Here you see, the eruption of Mount Etna on the island of Sicily in 2002, filmed from the space station. Volcanoes are often located on islands or near the coast, therefore much of the solid volcanic material ends up in the water and settles on the sea and ocean floor. Pictured is the 2006 eruption of Augustine Volcano in Alaska. Another significant source of solid sediments is shell fragments and skeletons of marine inhabitants. We shall talk about them in more detail. To illustrate our story, we shall use drawings from the book Art Forms of Nature, by the outstanding German natural scientist Ernst Haeckel. Many marine mollusca have hard shells of various shapes, which are accumulated entirely or in fragments on the seabed. Hard skeletons are found in sponges, aquatic multicellular animals, and in marine invertebrates, coral polyps. These animals can be seen with the naked eye while diving into the sea or simply by visiting an oceanarium. Photos of corals are taken at the Seattle Aquarium. However, there is also a diverse world of invisible microscopic creatures discovered by the Dutch scientist Antonie van Leeuwenhoek and his microscope. Note the small object Leeuwenhoek holds in his hand in the portrait by the Dutch artist Jan Verkely. This is a microscope that has a small lens and two adjustment screws, allowing one to change the location of the sample under consideration. One day, Leeuwenhoek decided to examine a drop of rainwater with his microscope and discovered in it many living organisms, which he called animalcule. Nowadays, we call them microorganisms. We can see them in the engraving made by John Pass after an illustration by Daniel Dodd. The ocean is home to many shelled microorganisms, single-celled animals called Foraminifera. Their shells make up the foraminiferal silt that covers about 50% of the ocean floor. By the way, the chalk that we use to write or draw with on blackboards consists mainly of the shells of fossil Foraminifera. Silicon-containing skeletons are found in Radiolaria, one of the most common marine single-celled animals. When Radiolaria die, they are first accumulated in the form of silt and are then transformed into sedimentary siliceous rocks. About 90% of known Radiolaria are extinct and fossil species. They are used by geologists to determine the age of sedimentary rocks. Some plants, namely the microscopic algae, diatoms, also have hard silicon-containing shells. Diatoms live in all water bodies on our planet and produce, according to various estimates, from 20% to 50% of the oxygen that we breathe. This image by Professor Gordon T. Taylor of Stony Brook University shows what diatoms that live between crystals of sea ice in McMurdo Sound, in Antarctica, look like under the microscope. Well, we cannot help but tell you about another source of solid marine sediments, hydrothermal vents, also known as smokers. If there are cracks in the seabed near volcanically active sites, geothermally heated water containing many dissolved minerals can be released through them. These substances form rocks and mineral ore deposits on the sea and ocean floor. Depending on the chemical composition of the water they emit, smokers are divided into black, left, a black smoker in the Pacific Ocean near New Zealand, and white, right, a white smoker in the Pacific Ocean near the Northern Mariana Islands. Thus, many million years ago, as well as today, the seabed was covered with a many-meter stratum of solid marine sediments. The current appearance of Europe and its topography were shaped by volcanic activity and movements of tectonic plates. Sedimentary strata formed in the depths of a prehistoric ocean gradually became dry land. Earthquakes contributed to its cracking. Then, the wind, as well as rain and river water, formed individual bizarre rocks and entire rock cities. Now, we shall tell and show you one of them, Adršpach, located in the northeast of the Czech Republic, near the border with Poland. In ancient times, Adršpach served as a shelter for local residents during armed conflicts and wars. In the late 18th century, the rocky city became a popular place for strolls of high society gentlemen and ladies. We can see them in a watercolor by the Czech canonic and artist Jan Antonín Venuto and lithographs by the German artist Karl Mattis. It is known that the great German poet Johann Wolfgang von Goethe loved to travel. In 1790, he visited Adršpach. His bust is installed on one of the rocks. In the early 19th century, Adršpach belonged to Ludvík Karel Nádherný. He built a network of hiking trails, gazebos, and bridges between the rocks of Adršpach, which are still in use today. The Nádhernís have been known since the 17th century. Their representatives were craftsmen and traders. Ludvík Karel's father was ennobled in 1838 as a successful entrepreneur and landowner. Ludvík Karel Nádherný was knighted on September 8, 1865 with the title of Bor Rudin. Since 1933, the Adršpach rocks have been protected by the state as a national nature reserve. And finally, let's just take a walk in autumnal Adršpach. Right after entering the reserve, one can see a limpid turquoise lake that used to be a sand quarry. One of the most famous is the rock called Sugar Loaf. Its base is narrower than the top, 3 meters below, 13 meters above. Its height is 52 meters, and its weight is approximately 40 tons. The entrance to the rock labyrinth is decorated with a Gothic arch built during the time of Ludwig Karel Nadherny. After passing through it, along a narrow path between high rocks, one can get to Elephant Square. In 1844, there was a severe flood in Adršpach, during which the water rose almost 2 meters. Elves and gnomes could easily live in this rocky city. Imagine their fairy tale world and take a break from the arduousness of our time.